All right, guys, so getting into this arm bar wrist turn. Now this is probably the most, I would say, boring of the arm bars, right? But maybe the most effective, right? So this is our standard move to kind of start out with the arm bar. And this one is so much pressure, right? So I've seen so many people hit this move, and there's a cool little counter that you can do when you do the move wrong. That people have they always ask me questions about. Well, what if they roll into you? What if you roll into you? So for this move, I would say the last 20 years, and everybody I know who's worked with the brunettes, the counters never worked. It's never worked. It probably never will, because there's just big specifics that people just don't realize they don't do. And going back to my setups, is that they try to force it. All right, so getting to the arm bar wrist, we'll just get right to our head lever setup. All right, so he'll go down flat. All right, we're here like this. Head lever setup, pulling it back. All right, get to my arm bar. All right, so now when I have my arm bar, remember I have that fist in his back, right in the middle. I'm covering his elbow. Right, I'm just gonna fight underneath to the wrist. All right, so fight my hand underneath, all the way to the wrist. All right, so now probably the biggest thing here, this is the biggest mistake I see people do. I will slide back a little bit. The biggest mistake people do is they try to jump over the head. All right, so it's very important. I'm driving his shoulder right to his ear. All right, so here, fist on his back, I have his wrist. I'm driving his shoulder to his ear. Lots of pressure here. All right, so from here, there's no way that he can sit up into me. All right, when I jump over top, like this, he wants to sit up into me. You can do the move, sit up into me. This, I lose the position. All right, so again, that's never happened. Never happened to anybody I've known that had been in the arm bar system that I grew up in. It's never happened, right? Because I'm driving the shoulders here. There's no way, too much pressure. Way too much pressure. His other shoulder is pinned to the mat. All right, now I'm driving. All right, drive. As I get a little bit high here, I get near the end, I settle back. Settle back, I go chest to chest. Elbow goes forward, right for the pin. All right, guys, so getting to this arm bar and getting to our arm bar wrist turn. So we'll go head lever setup, pull the arm back, get here like this. Remember, fist in the middle of his back, I'm covering his elbow. Right now I'm fighting for his wrist. All right, fight for this wrist and I pull it in. Like, I don't want his elbow to be out. Then it gets awkward, it's hard to take over here. So I want to pull this arm in nice and tight. All right, from here, again, this is the most important thing everyone makes a mistake of, is I'm not rushing it, I'm driving his shoulder to his ear at a diagonal. All right, I'm not circling around his head, I'm driving the shoulder to his ear. All right, so fist in the middle of the back, I'm driving. Lots of pressure. All right, lots of pressure, his other shoulder's stuck on the mat here. Now I'm driving, I settle back. All right, again, I'm not jumping around his head, I'm settling back here. All right, and I'm gonna finish chest to chest. All right. Again, it's very tempting to want to go all around his head and sit out, right? That triggers a lot of different responses from him, and I've just seen them be able to get away. All right, so we're here, we drive forward, chest to chest, and I use my head as a post. Right here, right there. It makes it really tough for them to defend, right? There's so much pressure on their shoulder, on their neck, on their ear. It's pretty much, I would say, if you do it correctly, there's no way they're gonna be able to counter that. There's no way. I haven't seen it, so there's no way they're gonna be able to counter. And again, this is a very strong move. This is the first. This is always my first option with the arm bar. Always my first option. Fight for the wrist, and then we can go from there. All right. So arm bar wrist, lots of pressure, and remember, most important thing, driving that shoulder to the ear. So once I get the arm bar, I have the wrist, I got it locked up, I'm gonna get backwards. I have him going over, but I really wanna make sure that I get to the pin, all right? So it's really important, as I'm driving him, right, I'm keeping my head posted on the mat, my chest is gonna be on their chest, right? And I'm pressuring down on my arm bar, right? A little bit of an elbow forward at the very end helps secure the pin.